before I begin designing a house, I need to know where the house is going in terms of the property that my client has purchased. And I want to make sure that the house that I designed fits onto the property, not just the property lines, but there are generally setbacks from the property line that I have to maintain too. So I need to know what the property is. And generally the client will give me a graphic like this, which I've taken from the internet, and here's the link to that. There'll be a PDF in the content area of Blackboard with that link and this graphic, so that you can use this graphic to duplicate what I'm going to do right now. But I'm at my site plan. I have this graphic. As I was saying, though, the client may provide me with a visual like this, or they simply give me a legal description, which would include the lengths of the property lines, which are seen here, and the angle of the property line, which is seen here. So these are the cameras. I don't want to see the cameras in this particular view, so I'm going to type VG. Don't have to hit enter. VG is for visibility graphics. It's also available over here in the properties box, which is right here, VG. And I don't want to see the cameras and their elevations, and I believe they're in the annotation tab. So we'll come down here to elevation. Yeah, see right here. So I'm going to uncheck elevations, which is saying to Revit, that's not something I want you to show. I only want you to show things that have a check mark. So there they go. Because I just don't want to see the cameras. They're in the way. All right, so I'm going to duplicate this. I'm at the site. I'm going to go over to massing in site. And over here, I'm going to click on property lines. And the Revit wants to know, do I just want to sketch some lines, or do I want to actually enter the distances and bearings, which are really the distance and the angles? And I want to enter the distances and bearings. Yeah, I have it. So I'll give it here. So we'll start at line 1. And what we want to do is, if we're going, wherever we start, we want to keep going around. But here, we'll start here. Whoever made this, gave this point as point 1, so that's fine. But we could start here and go around and come back. But once we start, we want to keep going in the same order. But we'll start here. So the first one, I can't see it. So I'm going to cancel out of this, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit more, just because I want to be able to read what I'm doing. And then back to property lines again, create by bearings and distances. Okay, so now let's start right here. The distance is 946.79, so I'll put that in here. 946.79 and hit enter. Then is it north or south? It's north, so I go north. Is it east or west? It's east. And then I just put 35 space 5 space 4, and that'll give me the degrees, minutes, and seconds. It'll put that in. So I just highlight that and I say 33 space 5 space 4. Enter. And it changed that to 35 degrees, no, 33 degrees, 5 minutes, 4 seconds. So that's the angle of that line east. That's my first one. Okay. I want another line, so I'll insert. And that one, oh shoot, I started right here. No, I didn't. I started right here with the length, and then for some reason, I went over to here. So what should I do? All right, I'm gonna go back and change it now. So let's say we're gonna start on this line. I'll change this to 1146.6. 1146.6. Okay, so it's northeast, northeast. All right, so now the second one, I'm not gonna go here now. Now I'll progress over to here. 534.44. North, east, north, east, and then I'll put my bearing in here. 75.49. 75 space 4 space 9. Enter. Okay, that's my second one. And I want to put this one in, so I'll insert. What's the distance? 476.52. 476.52. Southeast. So then I want to change this to south. Still east, and then the bearing is 51, 23, 34. 51 space 23 space 34. Okay, so now I have this one in. We'll go over here now. So it means insert, and let's see. The distance is 1472.82. 1472.82. And then southwest. Okay, so we'll change this to south. We'll change this to west, and then we'll put in the bearing, which is 28, 37, 31. 28 space, 37 space, 31, 31. Enter. And now we'll do this one. Insert. And what do we have here? 946.79. So we'll do that. 946.79. It is northwest. North. Change this to west. And now we'll put our bearings in here. 58, 42, 45. 58 space 42 space 45. Okay. If I say okay, and let's look at it. Where'd it go? Huh. All right, so at the very end of that, I must have pushed cancel or something, but anyway, I paused the recording and just duplicated it. But here's what we get. If we click on it, we can say edit the table, and all of these should match what's in this view over here. So when I edit the table, I see this word closed, and that's very important to me because that means that I have a closed entity here, that the start point of this site is right here, and the end point is right there, exactly right there. So if ever I'm doing a site plan and it doesn't close, then it generally means that I have typed the distance wrong, but sometimes it could mean that the surveyor has put some information in wrong. That's very rare, but it happens. But anyway, I do not want to start until I make sure that it closes. The reason I want it to close is because this is a legal definition, and I want to make sure that I have created the correct legal definition, because the next thing that I'm going to do is create the building envelope. And then that's where I'm going to make sure that I keep my house at or inside of that envelope. I cannot exceed that envelope. So let's draw that envelope, and we'll just make some numbers up here. I'm going to go up to annotate, and I'll do a detail line. What kind of line? Well, I'll make it a hidden line, which would be a dash line. And I want it to be offset. So let's say that this is the front of the house, and these property lines I can't build any closer than, say, 100 feet to that. So I'll just say 100. So that's going to be my offset. And now I'll draw a line from here. And you can see that it's on the wrong side of that line. So I'll hit the space bar, and that puts it on the correct side. Okay. Then I'm going to draw another line. Offsets. Oops. All right. Let's draw another line. Still the right offset. And I'll go from here to here, wrong side. Then I'll go to here, and then I'll come down to here. Okay. So now I have my offsets. Those are all the 100 feet offset. But I said, well, let's see, maybe it's got to be 500 feet from the road. Let's say this is the front of the house and there's a road there. So again, detail line, hidden, change the offset to 500. And then I'll draw a line from here to here, and look at it. I want to make sure I stay on that line, but there we go. Okay, so let's take a look at what I've done. Now, let's do a little bit of cleanup, because this will create the boundary which my house must stay within. All right, so now I'm going to go up to my quick access toolbar, and I'll go to modify. It's there, but I'm going to go to modify, and in the modify section of the modify tab, there's this icon. If you're familiar with AutoCAD, say that that's a fillet tool. but Revit calls it trim extend. Anyway, we click on the objects that we want to keep. It's just like fillet. And there we go. So that would be my building envelope. All right. So I would save that because I like what I have. And the next thing I want to do is let's take this and put it on a sheet just to see what size I need to actually, what scale I need to actually present it at. So we have some sheets that are unnamed here. So I've created this one that doesn't have anything in it yet. And I'll grab my site and just drag it over. And it's much bigger than the boundary here. So what I want to do is click on that. We'll right click and say activate the view. And now I can change the scale. So let's change it down to 1 inch equals 80 feet. Oops, let's change it down to 1 inch equals 100 feet. And let's change it down to 1 inch equals 200 feet. There we go. That looks like it'll fit. Again, I'm going to right click and say, a little trouble here with the mouse, deactivate the view. Now I can drag it over and down. I'm going to use the arrows on the keyboard just to nudge it down a little bit. You want to get a lot of precision in your movement. The arrows are really nice on the keyboard. So this is my label. It's way outside of the title block. So I'm just going to click on it and drag it up. And then the tail of it's way over here. So I will click on the image and then I get this little bubble and I can drag it over. So for now, that's really good. In terms of my site plan, I'm going to activate the view again because I don't want to see this. So I'll right click with my mouse and say hide in view element. And I don't want to see this. So I will highlight it, right click with my mouse, hide in view element. And then I want to double check my work. So I'm going to tag these boundaries. Annotate, we'll come over here to tag by category. And I happen to have a tag already loaded into this, which will give me, when I click on it, it will tell me what the lengths and angles of these lines are. Okay. So I could also click on this and say, what is this? No, don't like that either. Let's see. We can change it. I don't want to see the leader. So let's see, edit the type. Leader, arrowhead, none. Degrees, minutes, seconds, yes. Decimal degrees, no. Okay. Well, I didn't want the leader, but okay. So there it is. Now, that probably doesn't come loaded. This tag probably doesn't come loaded. So you would go up to insert, load a family, and go up to annotations, and then civil, and then property line tag. Okay. And that will give you the tag so you can tag it. And you can say cancel because I didn't want anything there. Now, the last thing I want to do is just put in notes here in terms of the setbacks. So again, in my quick access toolbar, I have a dimension icon. And I'm simply going to click on here and here and place it. And then I'll do another one over here, here and here. Let's see if it'll snap. Doesn't seem to want to snap to. All right. And then here to here, and here to here, and last here to here. Okay, there's my site plan. Save it. What we have here now is the site plan. It tells me the scale. If I look over here, it also tells me the scale. This is my site plan, and as I design my house, I will have to keep it within this boundary in here. I can't exceed that boundary. Those are the setbacks. Now, this is a very large piece of property. You should not have any problem fitting your house in this piece of property. And one warning that I'll give you is that you're not being graded on your architectural abilities here. So you can design the ugliest house that I've ever seen, and it won't cost you a single point as far as it goes towards your final score for your grade. But you'd want to make it a simple house. Don't make it a difficult, don't make it a complicated or a big house. So if in fact your house were to be bigger than this envelope, you're just causing more work for yourself. Now, if you're a Revit pro already, then you can make the house as big as you want it, and it's not going to be an issue. But I've had students in the past who have made very large houses. You don't get any credit for a complex house. You get credit for executing the portions of this project that I'm grading you on. And so I've found that students that make a very complicated or big house spend more time on that house, and sometimes they don't have the ability or the time to complete all of the requirements in the class. So they're not getting credit for having a complex house, and they're losing points for not doing all of the requirements in the course. So the caveat here to you is, of course, keep it simple. Make sure that it stays inside of here for sure. That's a very, very big, very, very big house envelope. Not a big house, it's a big envelope. So that's what we want. So again, we always want to save it. And that's our site plan. So right click, deactivate the view. Let's call it, we'll rename it right here. Let's get in here and rename it. Click on it. Whoops, see that little, there's a little icon next to my mouse cursor. You can see it. And what that tells me is that I'm already in a command. I'm telling Revit to do something, and that icon is telling me that I'm telling Revit to dimension. So I'll come up here and click this modify tab, and that clears it out. So now I'm not in a command, and I will double click on there and just say site plan. Okay, now the site plan, I'd like that to be the second sheet. So we're going to just change that. The first sheet is 000.00. Let's make this 000.10. And there we go. Now it shows up over there. Let's go back to the first sheet. And sure enough, there it is, 000.10. So I start with my site location in my sheet list. That's my first sheet. And now my second sheet in this set is going to be the site plan. So we're going to see this secondarily. That'll be the site plan. So that's what I would like you to do as well.